You're watching the Bo Frye Show on Rider Nation Station, brought to you by Minster Bank, Plus One Professionals, Albert Sporting Goods, American Legion Post 323, Founders TV, Eagles Lodge 767, Speckman Automotive, All Glaze Audiology, Rabel's Auto Service, American Manufacturing Solutions, VFW Post 9289, All Glaze Equipment Rental, Guarneri's Pizza, Ogle's Bake Shop, and Schaff Auto Sales.
Hello and welcome to Rider Nation Station. We are bringing you the first ever Bo Frye Show. As every year we brought the Doug Frye Show for several years, and I'm happy to say that this year we're going to bring back the show, but of course we have a new head coach, Bo Frye. Bo, thank you for joining me here today.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Most weeks we're going to have Joe Hurlbert here going over the previous game and talking about the week before and the week ahead for St. Mary's Rough Rider football. Joe's on vacation, so I'm Zach Ferrall handling duties today, and that's okay because the season hasn't started yet, Bo. But we're going to go over some questions that some of the viewers may have on their minds. I think starting out mainly is what has it been like as transitioning into your first year as a head coach, of course, taking over for your father?
Well, it's definitely different. It's a different role, and a role that I kind of knew was going to happen. It's different how in the day-to-day aspect of things, you're no longer just coaching Garden Centers or just coaching offense. You're now looking at your watch. Do we need to switch stations? So the practice side of things, the media side of things, everything outside of it is a little different, but the football is all still the same.
That's great, and I know St. Mary's fans are probably curious how much on the football field is going to change, or is it going to look just like Rough Rider football?
Well, I was trained by Coach Frye, my dad. I worked for him for 10 years, so I've only been trained by one guy, so there is very little that's going to be changes. There's a new wrinkle here or there. My brother and I kind of joked that it's the same program, same offense. It's the same muscle car. We're just adding a spoiler and some lightning bolts on the side.
Excellent. Can't wait to see those lightning bolts. We have you've been offensive coordinator for your father for 10 years, 7 at Wapak, or 7 here at St. Mary's, 3 at Wapak. Mm-hmm. I've heard that Kobe is now offensive coordinator. Are there any other coaches changes? Or?
No, the coaching staff all stuck around, and I'm very grateful to them for coming back and being with me. But no, there are very little changes other than Kobe's going to call the plays, but it's kind of like a big ship, the offense. Everybody has a hand in it. There's just one guy coming from one voice. But we all have, Derek Dunlap, myself, and my dad all have impact, and Coach Jacobs as well on what's going to happen on Friday night.
And that's a good point. Your father, Coach Doug Frye, is sticking around as a volunteer coach.
Mm-hmm.
What's his role on this team?
He's a volunteer coach right now. He works with quarterbacks. Him and Derek Dunlap work together with the quarterbacks on Friday nights. He'll go to the box, and him and my brother kind of just work together on things on Fridays. I mean, he has 37 years of head coaching experience. I'm going to listen to if he has a good idea. I'm going to listen to it. But at the same time, I say, Dad, that's stupid. So that's just the same way any kid would be. I don't know how it is.
It's hard to replace 37 years of experience overnight. So
yeah,
I'm sure it's great to have that coming back into the coaching staff.
For sure. You use your resources, and I'm smart enough that I know that to use my resources.
Well, Bo, another big question on my mind and maybe some of the fans' minds is the last year we had a shortened, abbreviated WBL season, 6 games, and then we went right into the playoffs, no out-of-league games to start the year off. Obviously, this year we're going to be starting with London, which Rider Nation Station is going to be bringing you this Friday. What else? What about the schedule has changed or is going back to normal, I guess, this year?
Well, everything's going back to normal for the most part. Last year was such a crazy year with COVID, and I felt like half the time I was babysitting kids on putting masks on or staying away from each other, don't huddle up. So we're back to the normal football finally, thank the Lord, and hopefully it stays that way. But the schedule now is back to your normal rotation of WBL schools. The only difference is we're opening up with London, who we picked up in the offseason, who's a very, very good football team.
Sure, and so, Bo, just to talk a little bit about this team, we have 15 returning seniors, 7 on offense and 5 on defense. What does the senior class mean to you, and what's special about this senior class?
I'll tell you, I'm very, very, very grateful to have this senior class. They're a great group of kids. I just joked a little while ago, they're the type of kids you'd want to date your daughter. They're National Honor Society kids. They're Fellowship of Christian Athlete kids. So they've done every single little thing we've asked them to do. So I'm very appreciative of them. There are 15 of them. And what's crazy about the 15 seniors is that they all have found a role on Friday nights. Usually you have 18, 19 seniors, and 5 or 6 of them are watching every Friday. They're not really doing a lot, but every single one of them has found a way to get on the field in some capacity on Friday nights. So they're leading this thing. I'm just kind of steering the ship, but they are the heartbeat of our football program. Every year the seniors are the leaders.
Maybe to talk about offense a little bit, I'm always looking at the offensive line. I know that we have Chase Jacobs back at center, Ryan Davis at guard, and Stashu Patterson at guard. To me, the offensive line looks like the strength of the offense this year, or at least the returning part of it. What else do you see in the offense side?
Yeah, definitely those 3 guys inside are our leaders on the offensive line, and they're very good. One of the better groups of guard and centers. I personally coach guard and centers. They're one of the better groups I've ever had. They got to keep getting better, and they got to keep improving, but they are definitely be a strength. I think we have a quarterback in Regavin Reinecke who has played 2.5 years, so he knows the system. He'll make plays when he needs to. So he's definitely a strength. And then we have a plethora of running backs. We're not short on running backs right now. It starts with Tanner Howe, who will play in the backfield. Ross Henshin, who has been playing fullback, it seems, for 10 years now, too. Yeah. Aiden Hinkle will be back this week. We're starting a freshman at right halfback, and Colton Mabry, who's very, very, very talented. We're hoping he can live up to what he's shown us in practice and in scrimmage. And Braden Hemmelgarn will be back here in a couple of weeks, and Braden Sullivan as well, who's played in the backfield.
That's excellent to hear, because we saw last year, injury bugs can happen on this type of offense. The leading St. Mary's was the leading rushing offense in the WBL. Injuries can happen when you're running a wing T offense and pounding the ball so much every game. So having a whole stable of backs is very important, I'm sure. Looking at the defensive side, Stashu Patterson also playing defensive end. Tanner Howe also, to me, the star of the defense when I watch the defensive side, always around the ball somehow, making crazy tackles in the backfield, or just always picking the right angle in his pursuit. What else should we look at on the defensive side?
I think our defense definitely revolves around Tanner. I think Tanner is one of our better football players, one of our better linebackers that have come through St. Mary's. And he'll float around. He'll play in the secondary one play. The next play he could be playing outside linebacker. The next play he might be playing Mike linebacker. He can do a lot of things on defense. But I think the defense as a whole has grown, and they're continuing to grow. I think Dylan Gieske at defensive end, he played all year last year. He's played for us for a couple years. He's coming back. Stash Patterson as well, who's played defensive end. We have a plethora of defensive tackles that rotate, running in and out. Braxton King, Carter Sharp, Xavier LeClaire. Those are all guys that can play on the defensive line. Linebacking core, Drew Danmeyer, Jay Schaefer. They'll be very solid linebackers there to go with Tanner. And secondary-wise, we're replacing some pieces, but there's a few that are back there. Brandon Bowers, who played late in the year. Ty Keel, who has varsity experience. So there's a lot of guys that have played some football back there.
And I'm sure our fans can hear a lot of those names were names that we talked about last season. So a lot of returning talent, both offensively and defensively. Let's move on to what this team has looked like so far this year in the scrimmages, and then what do we have to look forward to for this week against London?
Well, the scrimmage-wise, we are not a finished product. We're still a work in progress every day. I walk out on the field every day and say, man, there's like 15 things we still need to get better at. So we're a work in progress. We've managed well in the scrimmages. We played hard. We can trust them. They're fighting. They're being tough. So I'm very proud of them for the way they've played in the scrimmages. But we obviously know that those were kind of trial runs for the real year. So Findlay, we scrimmaged and we did well against them. And then Beaver Creek, we scrimmaged and did well against them as well. Leading into the year, the schedule's pretty tough, especially early, so we'll have to be ready and get those little things figured out here quick.
London Red Raiders, what type of offense and defense are they running?
So they're a version of a 4-3 defense. And I think when you look at London, you look at their defense first because they're well coached, they run the ball, they're aggressive, they're fundamentally sound. They have a big linebacker who's signed with IU. He can fly to the ball.
Isaiah Jones, I think, if you
that
hear
is
his name at all.
Yes,
Yep.
he's a good football player. So their whole defense, though, they're surrounded with a lot of guys that are very solid. And then you turn over and look at their offense. They have a quarterback who's definitely accurate, and he can move and he can deliver. Big kid. They got a running back who was an all-state kid last year as well.
I'm putting you on the spot a little bit, but I could not find any record in St. Mary's history of us playing London before. Do they remind you of a certain WBL team more than another?
I think defensively they remind me a lot of Walpock. And offensively, they're a mix between Walpock, Bellefontaine type. They play in the league with Bellefontaine, so they have that similar type dynamic. So big, thick kids who are physical.
All right. Well, I'm sure it's going to be quite a test and early season. You've got a tough schedule coming up, but Bo, I'm sure with your experience and with the staff and with this group of seniors that you're ready for it. So I want to thank you for coming today and look forward to having you on the Bo Frye Show all season on Rider Nation Station. We're going to be carrying almost every single game this year. All home games will be live streamed, audio and video. And then also this week, of course, we're going to have audio and video for London. And we're going to do as much as we can to bring Rough Rider football all around the nation. So,
well, thank you for having me, and thank you for all you do, and go Riders.
Thanks, Bo.
Thank you for watching this edition of the Bo Frye Show, brought to you by Minster Bank, Plus One Professionals, Albert Sporting Goods, American Legion Post 323, Fowler's TV, Eagles Lodge 767, Speckman Automotive, Ugly's Audiology, Rabel's Auto Service, American Manufacturing Solutions, DFW 9289, Ugly's Equipment Rental, Guarneri's Pizzeria, Vogel's Bake Shop, and Shop Auto Sales. Thanks for watching another episode of Rider Nation Station. Help us help you by subscribing on YouTube or following us on Facebook.